Hello, replay viewers, and welcome. We're tuning in from a park in District 1, Saigon, Vietnam. I'm just going to take a few minutes here to talk about some of the experience that I've had since I've been here in the past week or two, and what I intend to do for the next week while I'm still here. Now I am going to set you guys just portrait for a couple seconds as I take a sip of water. It is the third day of the Lunar New Year. There are still many things that are closed. If you join me in my broadcast from a few days ago, I scoped the first day of the year, the celebrations on the walking district. And I've scoped Boy Viet Street, which is the international street, quite a bit. And now I'm going to park just one street over from Boy Viet. If you are a replay viewer, stick around. I will walk through Boy Viet to find a locals market. I know where it's located, I just don't know if it's open. Welcome, Desperate Mandy, to your first day on Periscope. You are in Saigon, Vietnam. We are on the local side of an international district. You'll find almost all locals here, although you can spot the random white person every once in a while. I'm going to walk here about 5 blocks in front of me to a busy street, to a market that I know which exists, but I do not know is open or not. Saigon Dep Kong Ban, Ka Dep, Tik Saigon. So the person in the chat just asked me if I think Saigon is beautiful. They call me Ban though. How about Anh? Xin chào. Khỏe không? So I have been here for a couple weeks. I've scoped quite the busy international street. I scoped several hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese trying to find the decorations in District 1. Não tôi ban thu nước. Now tôi. Hey, English, thu nước, now tôi. So, we're going to find our way to markets. I wanted to call today Market Day. I almost scoped that. As the title. That was my idea. Welcome, England. You're in Saigon, Vietnam. I want to call it Market Day. I planned on taking you guys to a locals market, a true locals market, to Chut Ben Thang, which is the world famous Ben Thang market, and then later Chut Lon in Chinatown. However, I did not feel confident that all three of those would be open, so maybe another day will be deemed Market Day. Today, we will just explore the city together. Hello, Florida. I'm from Panama City. So I purposely started in this park to talk to you guys a little bit about what it's like to be here in Vietnam. The street culture is where it's at. I recommend bringing a good pair of shoes. Clearwater. I got family down there. Good pair of shoes. A whole lot of water, and a positive attitude, and you will have a great time. I just had banh mi, which is bread, from a stand on the side of the road, as anyone else would, for 15,000 Vietnam dong. That's about 75 cents. You can find such food all along the streets. That's what Southeast Asia is known for, is that street food, that street culture. At night, it will look like a carnival here. Most of the parks are built such as this. They do have famous lotuses right here. Boom. Lotus. Thank you guys for the hearts and the roosters. The roosters are there because I put Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year in the title. It is the third day of New Year. If you did not tune into any of my other broadcasts during the time that I've been here, you'll find that it is a season, not a day, as it is in the United States. Yes, I've taken quite a bit of off the beaten path kind of walks on this trip. However, I've been videoing on private. It is great having the freedom to travel to these countries while my U.S. passport is still good. Let's see how Trump treats that. I did walk right past the public exercise area without mentioning it. They're really good about keeping the green in the city. There are nearly 9 million people in Saigon, Vietnam. That is just a few percentage points off of New York City, if you want a reference point. And that's a lot of people, folks. They do not have a metro system or a rail system. So the process of being built, however, it's not completed. has not ran its first line yet. So many of these people get around on underbone motorbikes. They're called underbone motorbikes. It's sort of a mix, if you're from Western world, it's sort of a mix between a scooter and a motorcycle. I really do enjoy the shade, as most locals do. So right now we are one street over from the famous International Street that I've been staying on, Boy Vance Street. I will help you find what that looks like. How you find yourself if you get lost in Vietnam. There we go. Regular bus accommodation. If you get lost in Vietnam, you have to be able to glance at these signs. 30C. I think it's 30C today. You got to be able to look at these signs. Q1 means Quan Mot, which is District 1. Of course, you will always find TP, Ho Chi Minh City. Thanh Pho is city, Ho Chi Minh City. So, if you ever get lost, a quick glance at those, you can at least find the Q, you'll know what district you're in. If this is your first time, beaten path or not, you will likely spend a lot of time in District 1, District 5, District 3, 10. 3 and 10. That bus is actually going against traffic. This is very, very normal. Very, very normal. If you want to cross the street, just make eye contact with the people driving the motorbikes. They will not hit you. I did watch my replay the other day. I had quite a few people drop into that scope. It's about an hour in length. I walked almost all of District 1 to the famous walking street that ends at the Palace. It's a really, really good time if you got time to spare, even if you just jump through and see what we showed. I will say I'm slightly surprised to not have more questions about Southeast Asia. So if you guys have anything on your mind or hearts, speak anytime, feel free. I am a teacher by profession, it's in my profile, so I could talk all day long. All day long. I do talk all day long, that's what I get paid for. If this is your first one you're tuning into, right here, you can buy cigarettes, cafe, and a SIM card. Those little stands are very, very handy. The SIM card I'm running is 4G LTE for $10 US. The internet that's running in it, well, it's $8 US. The internet that's running it is 10. So a total investment of $18 US for the SIM and 3 gigs of LTE internet or 4G internet. That is 5 times cheaper than the Big Four, the cheapest Big Four in the United States. I can verify that because I work for that carrier. If you're from the United States, you now know where I work. Where do you teach and what subject? Right now I'm in graduate school, so I'm not actively teaching. However, my license is in the state of Alabama. I teach secondary education, social sciences. I'm certified to teach advanced programs, AP. Geography will be my favorite, world history. I also teach history, economics, sociology, any of the social sciences. I had a double major when I was going through college, and a minor in music. It's a nice cathedral. I haven't visited, it's not actually the cathedral, it's just a large church. I have not been there yet, although it's 1 block away from where I'm staying. If you haven't been here when I pimped it out before, Pho Quin, District 1, it's right around the corner from the International Street. I always recommend it. If you come to Vietnam, you have to. Heading to be a principal. Wow, graduate school's got to be fun for you too. You have to eat or drink somewhere with plastic chairs on the side of the road. If it doesn't have a name, it seemingly doesn't even have a restaurant, you're eating and drinking at the right place. If you look right around the corner here, I'll go back. It's actually just a tourist. It's a place where you book tours. They just have plastic chairs. There's no name, there's no anything. That's where you know you're getting the right local stuff. That's how you know you're getting the right local stuff. I actually do have a contact here in International District. I know the manager of the hotel that I'm staying in. Moped, yeah, it's an underbone motorbike. They run 125 to 150 cc's. Most of them have gears, although it's becoming increasingly popular for them not to. Having a contact here in the district has really helped me a lot, although I've gotten around more and more without her. You can find anything you ever needed in what we would call a bodegas in the Americas. Trust me, anything you've ever needed. There's of course hostels going down these alleyways. They may steal my phone. They really may. They really may. They'll steal it live. That would be an entertaining story to tell. So the market that we're going to, we're actually going to make it our way to the end of the street and then over. I did not start at that market for two reasons. One, because I thought maybe the viewers would enjoy a walk through the streets. And two, because I did not know if that market's open. It'd be an awfully short scope if I started at a closed market. We're actually going to turn the corner from this international street to the right. And the first thing we'll find at the end of the road is a school. We do find quite a bit of children, although it is very, very hectic on this street at night. How long have we been here? 2 weeks. I'll stay for another week. This will mark my 5th or 6th month. This is the international street. That's why you see so many Europeans. This will mark my 5th or 6th month over the past 6 years. I spent several months at a time here. This is the shortest trip I've taken yet. I'm sorry, the second shortest trip I've taken. I've taken one shorter. Usually I stay in the countryside. I did manage to make my way to a village while I was here, outside of Cam Ranh or Nha Trang. It's a beautiful thing if you're white going to a village. You've got to be able to be used to people staring at you at all times. It's not personal. It's just most people have seen white people. They're just not used to seeing them at their home. It's that simple. So here it is in all of its beauty. I am at the end, not the far, far end. The actual end's right where the school is. I am at the end of all the fun on Bois Vient Street. It is pure insanity from this block down to that one. Pure insanity. What you see in the distance is Bitesco Financial Tower. You have a cafe right there where the helipad is. You have a cafe. Gives you a panoramic view of the city. If you want to spend an exorbitant amount of money on a drink or coffee, you can go there and see the city from above. I recommend Saigon Trade Center, a couple blocks away. It's a few floors lower, but it's outdoors. It is on the rooftop of the building. Also, obstructing the view of the Bitesco Financial Tower is Bintan Land. It's a little bit lower also, but another open view of the city. It is a party. It is a party. It's a lot to see, a lot of craziness. You got to get used to the Asian ways. How they do the power lines, the cable. You have 2 or 3 stories of businesses. Usually there's a business here of a different sort. You can take stairs to the second type of business. Almost every single structure is built the same way. Thank you guys for the hearts and the roosters. It is the year of the rooster. Or the chicken cock. Depends on who you ask. The hotel in which I'm staying at is right here. I'm staying on the top, near the top. I may scope from the roof yet again sometime soon. I've scoped there before. It is running 1:30 p.m. How hot? It is running 88 degrees Fahrenheit. I believe 88 degrees Fahrenheit. I can convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, but not the other way around. So if anybody wants to help out with that, Google it. So we do have a lot of white people. I mentioned in another scope, this part, this side of Bois Vient Street, it is not just a white or Western district or street. You will see Mexican restaurants. You will see Indian restaurants. You will see Chinese restaurants, Japanese restaurants. This is the international district, not just Western. Are the streets smelly? 3 weeks I'll stay here. Are the streets smelly? Listen, if you've been to a major city of any sort, it smells just like any other major city. I will say that my nose is tuned to the Vietnamese culture, and I guess I can smell the fish sauce, rice, the tea. I'm used to a lot of these things because I've been around it for many, many years. But I don't feel that it's any different than, say, for example, Rome. As a matter of fact, many parts of Rome smell a lot worse than where I'm standing right now. I would love to see a Mexican... Did I pass it? Did I pass it? Hey, there you go. If you ever want to know if people are talking about you, Mitang. That's what they call you. Mitang. That means white person or white American. Let's see here. Dumplings, Chinese restaurants. Hold on. We're right by the Mexican restaurant. I just don't remember where it's at. English restaurant. Mitang. Let me see. Where is that at? I've never eaten at this Mexican restaurant. I've just seen it. Here we go. There it is. Is it there? There we go. Mexican bowl, enchiladas, pho, mixed fried noodles. They don't even have a name. Where's the name? Does it have a name? I don't think it has a name. Circle K has taken over Vietnam. You find them anywhere and everywhere. And they were open on New Year's as well. Have I tried bún chả yet? Bún is one of my favorite foods. I've tried all of the búns. Bún ba, welcome, bong bong. Welcome to your first day. I try all the búns. Bún is my favorite food in Vietnam. Of all of the búns, bún mouc is my number one. Bún mouc is my number one. B-U-N-M-O-C. I know enough to get me by. I've been here before. My ex-wife was Vietnamese. 11 years. Is this downtown? That's a relative term now, isn't it? It's a relative term. This is not my first trip. It's not my first trip. After 2 weeks. No. I've known Vietnamese for 11 years. My first trip was in 2010. This is my first trip meandering the city alone, though. Have I been to Hanoi? The furthest north that I've been is Hue and Hoi An. I've been Hue, Hoi An, all the way down. I've been to Da Nang, Nha Trang, Đà Lạt. I've been to Phu Quoc Island, Vũng Tàu, been Hoa, Saigon. I've been everywhere. Cam Ranh, all of it. I have not been to Hanoi. I would like to go to Hanoi and Sapa sometime soon. Do you see many vehicle collisions? Wow, that's an amazing question because we were just talking about that in my last scope. There were thousands. Guys, if you tune into my 1 hour long scope, 25 minutes in, you will see thousands of motorbikes trying to get in and out of one place, yet see no accidents. So, biết rồi. Thank you. The security guy said, man, you can't hold your phone out like that. The motorbikes, they don't want to hit each other any more than you would expect. So they just it looks like chaos, but it is organized chaos, people. It is organized chaos. Meaning that everybody's kind of on the same page. I am making my way further down the street. Towards, one second. My question is, should we go this way? Looks very Thailand. Wearing dust masks. Dust will be one of the things that the mask protects you from. Guys, I think we're 1 block too far down. We need to go up 1 block. I will go around the corner to be sure of that. For pollution, yes, 9 million people, guys. 9 million people. 6 million of them are on bikes right now. So, yes, for pollution, for dust, for anything you'd find in this major city. Thank you guys for the roosters and hearts. If you're not already, oh wow. If you haven't already invited your followers or friends, let them join the fun. Going down this way, it leads towards another district. It's one of the main boulevards in District 1. Right now we're on Cong Queen. This is one of the hardest markings for me to pronounce. Welcome, Juju, to your first day on Periscope. One of the hardest things for me to pronounce. With the hat, Womong, and the marking connected to the hat. That's a difficult one for a Westerner, but the slash down is exactly what it looks like. You just move the tone down. It's a good time. We're going to go 1 block up. I'm about to cross the street in a very dangerous way. I'm just going to walk in the middle of the street. Wow, I've just been sandwiched between a bus and a motorbike. I don't think that's the worst thing that's happened to me today, though. If you're looking for Western accommodations, there are 5-star hotels galore here. You can shop for anything you wish to shop for. One thing that is very, very popular in this city, I've not been to the Sky Deck, is very popular in this city, is cameras. If you are into Nikon or Canon, you will have no problem finding such supplies. Do I live here? I do not. It is a long-term goal to work at an international school here. However, I have a B-level license in the state of Alabama, and I would look to have a A-level license, which is why I'm not actively teaching at the moment. Hello, Portland, Oregon. How are you doing? Welcome to the Scope. Right now we are meandering down a seemingly empty street in District 1, Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon, Vietnam. I'm walking in the other direction of the crowd. This is a street I have not walked down before. I'm interested to know what is at the end. From Guadalupe. Welcome, Guadalupe. It is the perfect time. They love the yellow flowers during Tet. They actually have a special yellow flower for Tet decorations. I've posted a picture, or I don't remember if I've posted or if I've begun to post several pictures of these decorations on my Instagram. Same name, Joshua229. I is for Instagram. You see here, bots are new to me, so if you guys see them, help me out. First time that I ever went to Vietnam was in 2010. It's quite the experience. I landed in the midnight. They drove me out to a village from Saigon, about an hour outside of the city, to a place called Zac Kim. It's in Bien Hoa, the Dong Nai province. I got there, and at the time they were out of power 3 days a week or 2 days a week on a scheduled outage. The day that I got there was the first day of that week that was out of power. So I got there in quite a shock. Almost ended up in the hospital. Not by my own preference, but my hosts were quite concerned. It was a good experience. I did grow fond at that time into eating at markets, at open markets, such as the one that we're looking for. I sort of wish I had my local contact in the chat at the moment because I may have taken the wrong turn. I think it's at the corner up here. I have only seen it once. Hôm nay đang nghĩ Tết em lick nhiên vang về. Okay, I know 3/4 of the words that you've just spoken, but when you put all of them together, the total meaning is lost. Do I feel safe walking around? Guys, I have traveled to Rome, Paris. Trying to think of other dangerous cities. Atlanta, Georgia. New Orleans. I would say I feel no more threatened here than I do at any of those other places. I would say the most threatened I've ever felt was in Paris. It's not very dangerous in Paris unless you make a few wrong turns, and I'd done that before. There's some very, 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 very creative schemes, pickpocketing schemes and different other scams in Paris and in Verona, also in Milan. These are things you just have to look for in Europe. Is it all close? It's a very large city. I walk a lot. I walk about 10 miles a day. Do not speak French. Eating something in the market. I saw the question fly right past, but I was talking about places where I felt like I might get pickpocketed. In the market, my favorite food to get is a food called bún thịt nướng chả giò. Bún thịt nướng chả giò. Also, my favorite food in the village that I told you about previously was mankind. It's a large noodle. I've just eaten bánh mì from a stand. I may grab some. This right here, cơm tám, means broken rice. Bún thịt nướng chả giò. Hey, you gotta have the egg roll. Chả giò. Gotta have the egg roll. We're gonna cross once more. My accent, listen, I'm still American. I try my best. That's the difference between bad, and bad. Is the number 3, dad and grandma are all bad. It's just the way you use the inflection. It's difficult. It is difficult for a Westerner. The second most difficult, I would say, is NG. We use it as a suffix in America, like thinking. But in Vietnam, they use it at the beginning of the word, like when or ngan. I do not do drugs. I am a teacher by profession. It's in my profile. How about the beach here? The beach is just like the beach in America. We have ugly-ass beaches and we have nice ones. If you go to Vung Tau, it's a little bit dirtier. If you go to Nha Trang, it's quite the beautiful white sandy beach. My favorite beach so far is Da Nang, in the center of the state, or of the country. If you are here and your palate is missing home just a little bit and you're from a Western country, One of the easiest foods I found to eat is not the fast food that you've seen as I passed Burger King, Baskin Robbins, and different things on the scope. One of the best ways to find Western food, I would say, is pizza. I have had a variety of pizzas of different... Have I been anywhere else? You must have just joined the scope. I've had different varieties of pizza of different levels of accuracy. We're going to make a circle back around, guys. I may have passed that market already. I'm not lost because I see that church in the distance, but I definitely don't know where this market is. Have I been to other places? I have been to everywhere, going up to Huế and Hội An, Da Nang, Nha Trang, Đà Lạt, Vũng Tàu, Phú Quốc, Biên Hòa. I went to a smaller village in Cam Ranh, outside of Cam Ranh, just this past week. I've also stayed in a place called Gia Kim in the Dong Nai province. There are some cities I don't even know the name of. On my way to Cambodia, I went to the floating markets. I don't even remember the names. You're Rushish. Okay. I'm Americanish. I think you meant to say Russian. We're making our way back in the direction we've started in search for this locals market. It is my goal to scope 3 markets in the next few days. I may be able to do all of them today, depending on the rest of my day's plans. I will scope a true locals market. This will be the hardest market to scope because they will not be happy. Hello, Natalie. I'm Joshua. They will not be happy to see my camera in a locals market at all. I will try to scope a locals market. I will try to scope Bentine market or Chut Bentine. And I will try to scope Chinatown, Chut Lon. I travel myself within this trip, but I did not come here alone. My travel companion is currently in the village. How many days in celebration of New Year? Depends on the business. 5 days is the norm. I'm doing fine, Natalie. Why is what? I've lost the question. Why is what? This is what I ate earlier for 15,000 or 75 cents. You can get a SIM card at drink stands if you didn't see that at the beginning of the scope. I've almost been hit by a taxi. He did manage to catch my wrist just now. Camera inside the market, they're not used to it. Because I'm going to a locals market, I'm invading their space. They do not expect a white person to walk through videotaping them. Hey, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Is it cheap? 75 cents is cheap. Hey, catch the replay for the one that's saying goodbye. Have a good night. Sleep tight. Where do you get your money to travel a lot? I, like many people, work. I work. I have priorities, guys. I do not drink very often. If I do drink, it's at home. I do not smoke or do drugs. I do not go to clubs. My money is almost solely spent on traveling. I've traveled a lot the past year. It's all on my Periscope account. Been to Miami, New Orleans, Orlando, Las Vegas, the Grand Canyon, Saigon, Rome, Switzerland, different cities. I do not follow this other couple that travels. There are a lot of couples that travel. I follow a few. I went to Stuttgart, Germany, Verona, Bologna, Pisa, Rome. I've traveled the world the past year, guys. Not all of it, but quite a bit. Quite a bit. Hello. Is that my market at the end of the street? Alright, guys. Wish me luck. Chợ đảo. Đi chợ, yeah.
Đi chợ hả?
Ở đảo. Đi tang hả? Cảm ơn chú. For the Vietnamese in the chat, do not make fun of my Vietnamese accent. He seemed very confused when I said chợ. He just pointed down the street. He may be lying. At the end of that street, it looked like a market. Huh. We might be in trouble, guys. I think I see the front of it. Uh-oh. We're going to see. So for the 23 that are here, if you are new to this scope, if you have not been watching since the beginning, I have scoped quite a bit on this trip. Check out the replay. Shown millions and millions of people in one scope, over an hour long. 1 hour, actually. 1 hour exact, not over an hour. Just a few nights ago. Not much of a sidewalk, but I will say some interesting points about Vietnam, they always have this design. They have this design in their sidewalks. I gotta wonder if that takes a lot of manpower. However, they want to unify the look all the way across. You find this in the countryside and in the city. This is a communist country. South Florida. Which part of South Florida? Hello. Am I looking for something or am I just walking? As the title alludes, I'm looking for a market. However, walking around doesn't bother me. Although I do not tag this one Wanderlust, I've run out of characters. I do like to wander. Hollywood, near Miami. I know where Hollywood is. Do I rented a scooter? What? Okay, I think you're saying, do I rent scooters? So, not on this trip. I do drive motorbike. I have an international driver's license. I also own a motorcycle at home. Honda CBR 650F. This is one of the pagodas real close to where I'm staying, right around the corner. I will not scope a pagoda. I am Catholic, however, I will not be disrespectful to other cultures. Block, 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 block. Let's see here. We are in District 1 still. 23 US on the regular, 30 during the holidays. Still District 1. This is more of a local side of District 1. You don't see as many white people. We are two hearts. I'm looking at hearts and thinking about roosters. 2 blocks away from where you would find all the white people. This is how you get in good with the taxi. If you come here during the season, it's not a day, it's season. I have been to Canada, yes. I have not been to an adoption shelter. Chuk Mong Namoy means Happy New Year's. That's how you keep people happy. I've not been to an adoption shelter. We have made full circle, nearly full circle. You'll notice that still a lot of large businesses such as this one are closed. It is only the 3rd day of the new year. Some places will stay closed for the first 5. Chuk Mung Namoy. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to the new year. Happy New Year's. They do celebrate 2017 as of right now, although it is not 2017 based off of the lunar calendar. It is 2017 based off of the Gregorian calendar. Okay, so I have a quick question for the chat. Has anyone here been in this scope since the beginning? It's the year of the rooster, cock, or chicken, depending on who you ask. Has anyone here been in this chat since the beginning of this scope? Anyone here? Nope, nope, nope. I'm new. Anybody here been here since the beginning of the chat? Wow, wow, wow. Anyone? Just found me. Wow, wow, wow. My retention rate is terrible. It's only been 30 minutes. This is the park I started at. I walked maybe 10 city blocks in a full circle. And the market was at the end. The market was at the end of the park. Golly. Wow, wow, wow. Now we know. As you can see, it is closed. It is closed. Yay. I want to meander around the cities a little bit. I will stop this scope on Boivient Street, the international street, the one in which I started. I started at the park and walked through Boivient Street. Do you hear what's happening in the USA? Of course I read the news. You cannot get away from it. So, this is a dead version of a market. I will come here when it is open, hopefully tomorrow. It is very normal to get your fruits and vegetables from a vendor such as this, although some of these are out of season. You must be careful to know which ones are in and which ones are out. Broken rice, I am not hungry. Come tam, bánh mì, boom mam. I don't eat boom mam. I do not eat boom mam. You get vegetables. 3 weeks I'll be here. Vegetables, fruits. Here, it may actually be easier to scope this because nobody's here. It is normal to find stands just like this, guys. It's sort of like a Walmart, but it's not. To be completely 100% honest with you, it's 2 p.m. They may have been open this morning. Do I know which one's in season? I do not 100% know, but I do have a local contact which will help. It is normal to see meat such as this. Do I find a girlfriend? I do have a Vietnamese girlfriend. However, she lives in the U.S. What if they are not in season? Listen, if they're not in season and you're looking at that fruit, that means it was grown by the equivalent for plants of steroids. They will grow it the inorganic way. Is Saigon Ho Chi Minh different? Listen, if you live in Ho Chi Minh City, which is the proper legal name of the city, if you live in Ho Chi Minh City, you will call it Saigon. If you meet a Vietnamese that says Ho Chi Minh City, they are from Hanoi. Viet Cong. Hostels. Never been down this. I've never been. Let's see where it ends. Let's see where it ends. Saigon is still on everything. If you book a ticket here, you are booking it to SGN. SGN. Not HCM, as you would maybe expect. Saigon was the official name, and anyone from here will still call it such. Motorbikes parked right in front of hostels, hotels, bakeries, cafes, and different places is perfectly normal. I am not sure if I will try to scope Chat Lon later. What's happening in the USA? I'm assuming the question was referencing Donald Trump. I did not ask for clarification, just because I turned on the news this morning, and that's the only name that I saw. I'm nearly positive we just passed a red light hostel. Putin, the best. Wow. Okay, so many fours. We are in the Foreigners District, guys. We are in the Foreigners District. As I said at the beginning of the scope, that does not mean the White District. Does not mean the White District. What time is it here now? It is 5 until 2. Or 8 until 2. I do wear a Movado, so sometimes, hey, a quick glance just doesn't do it. Let's see here. What have we found? What kind of trouble have we found? Is this a dead end? It is. No. It just makes a full circle around to that street. All right. We're going to take a right, guys. We're going to take a right. That was anticlimactic. I expected something else at the end. I had a bike here previously, but I sold it when I left on my last trip. I do know a local contact here. I haven't asked her recently, but I'm pretty sure she would allow me to borrow her bike if need be. Last night I did go across town 14 kilometers away. Phan Thiet, Rat Dep. I don't know where Phan Thiet is. Rat Dep. Không biết ở đâu. Phan Thiet ở đâu. Where is that? Where is that? So, I do know a local here, and I'm sure I could borrow her bike. However, there's an app called Grab, G-R-A-B, that is very popular here, just like Uber. From the United States. I live in Florida now. That's where I was born. However, I grew up outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Walking is the reason that I came to this city. I rode across town last night. Took 45 minutes for 76,000 Vietnam dong. That's just over $3 US. There you go. New York style pizza. Now I know. As I said at the beginning of the scope, or the middle of the scope, if you have a Western palate for the day, just eat pizza. I've tried hot dogs, hamburgers, different things. I was not really excited about any of such. I will go on for another 5 or 10 minutes for the 21 of you that are hanging out right now. Thank you so much for supporting live broadcasts. If you are a replay viewer, I have had several hours of replay viewers throughout this Vietnamese trip. At 75 live, 75 tune in on replay just on a short scope the other day. That was very, very nice. I will continue forward back to Boy Viet Street, the international street. To come teach English for a year, oh, come do it. If you have a degree, or if you don't, you can come. Not in this area. I don't see homeless people in this area, but I have seen them quite a bit. All right, let's reorient ourselves here. Wow. So, if you were here in the middle of the scope, that is Boy Viet Street. I pointed out the Mexican restaurant right here. I took a left looking for the market. I went right after that, and I walked several blocks, made a full circle, and all I needed to do was turn right off of Boy Viet Street. Now we know. We learn together. I don't mind the little bit of exercise that I've gotten in this scope. I do have on my replay reel Tet celebrations on Winhui Street. They ride side saddle because they're wearing a skirt. Tet holidays on Winhui Street, which is the walking street right in front of the governmental palace. That is not the palace in which the war ended. The palace in which the war ended is a few blocks behind that. I will scope later on today Dukba Cathedral, the palace in which the war ended. They do now allow higher cc motorbikes here. In the past, you could not have over 150 cc's. It is now legal to have higher cc's. Yeah, sure. For those who are on their way out, thank you for joining live. If you're on replay and you're watching this far, at minute 41 nearly, thank you so much for watching this far. Thank you so much for supporting. I always appreciate having a crowd. Although I have scoped and will scope without one. Replay viewers are just as important as live, guys. If you haven't broadcasted and you're thinking about doing such, don't worry about numbers. Hey, when there's 100, 150, 200 people here and there's questions galore, it makes for an interesting scope. But to be honest with you, when I was in Rome and I had 100 in every scope, I could almost not say what I wanted to say about what I see. So you got to make a choice to, in that situation, answer questions or just to speak what you want to show. So if you're thinking about broadcasting, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Hey, I really appreciate the compliment for that, Mike. I really do. It is easier for me because I do public speaking for a living in a classroom. I also speak publicly outside of the classroom. But guys, there's no reason to be shy. I will say hello before I scope out. Go from portrait to landscape to portrait. Something I really don't like to do. If this is your first time seeing my face, I am Joshua. I do have an Instagram feed with the same name, Joshua229. I is for Instagram. Twitter, Joshua229T. You guys are starting to catch on, right? I will scope when I travel. I have a drone at home. I scope about culture. I scope about teaching occasionally. I hope you guys have enjoyed walking through District 1, Saigon, Vietnam. District 1, Saigon, Vietnam. But it's a rail over my head. But it's a cafe. Almost always a cafe. I have had a good time scoping District 1. Later, I plan on scoping District 5, District 3, 10, and maybe one more on my way out. So just a few more days here of scoping left, maybe 4 more days of scoping. You can see my replay reel to see the Tet celebrations. You can also see Winhui Street. You can see one locals market that was half open just a few days ago. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will scope later on today. If you haven't hit the follow button, follow along. I'd love to share my travels with you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you for joining. I will say bye for now. Let's see. Let's say, hey, don't obstruct, don't obstruct, don't obstruct. Oh. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining. I really appreciate the compliment, Mike. I really do. Really do. Thanks for all the hearts and roosters. I really enjoy it. Thank you. For those who just joined, I'm on my way out. I just saw 3, 4, 5 names pop up. Yep, I am on my way out. What you see in the distance is Bitesco Financial Tower, right at the end of Boy Viet Street. It's not at the end of the street, it just looks as such because it's so tall. It is 20 minutes walking in front of me. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate the support. Bye for now.
Hello replay viewers, and welcome. This scope will, first of all, not leave my balcony. So if you're looking for me to walk around Vietnam, this isn't the scope for that. Besides that, I'm going to test a few things. It includes several firsts, one of which is the first time I've scoped from my balcony. Another first would be the first time I scoped from my iPad. And this will be the, bonjour, this will be the last of my tests. So, welcome everyone to the scope. Just giving my hello to the replay viewers. This is the final test. I didn't put a test scope in my title, but this is the final test of the several tests that I ran this week on Periscope. Basically, where am I? I am in southern Vietnam. The exact location says it's unknown. That's one of the tests, one of the things I wanted to test. My precise location is about 2 hours away from Saigon. So, I've been having some issues. Welcome, Mink. Hello. I've been having some issues with Periscope. And I've been testing said issues for a couple weeks now. I've been great. How have you been? Well, so, Mink, I don't know if you know this, but actually when I went to Singapore and you first joined my scopes, after I returned from Singapore, I went to Saigon and unfortunately got my iPhone stolen. I got my iPhone stolen. Yeah. So I have been using a backup phone. I did work in the industry, in the cell phone industry for 10 years. So I had a very nice backup phone. The LG G6 is a fantastic device. It was stolen in Saigon, Vietnam. I was in the streets in District 1, the most popular tourist district there. And yeah, so it was stolen. That's the first time I've ever had a phone stolen in my lifetime. Yeah, it really wasn't fun. It was a iPhone 7 256 gigs. So it was a real big bummer. Or maybe that one was a 128, but it was the high gigs. It was a real bummer. But I've been using this LG G6, and the G6 is a fantastic device, but what I do not like about it is that the Android applications are an inferior build. They don't work. I've just checked my Twitter a couple seconds ago. This is the test, by the way. Everyone maybe is wondering why I keep saying test scope. These are one of the things I've been testing. Precise location. Right here. There you go. Here's my Twitter. If it'll focus. Oh, there you go. Hello, welcome. I double tapped. If you haven't seen my face before, I'm Joshua. Nice to see you. Yes, so here you go. It won't focus. I don't know why the iPad's having such a hard time focusing close up. However, the LG application, the Android app, will not tweet out my scope. It will not tweet out my scope. I've tried 5 scopes, will not tweet out my scope. Also, it will not share the location properly. Also, I do not see comments until I watch the replays. So I've scoped here in Vietnam. Welcome, Rachel, to your first day on Periscope. I've scoped here in Vietnam, and I don't see the comments until I watch the replays. Hence why I'm trying the iPad for the first time. I wanted to see if the Apple app... I'm seeing comments from Mink so far. The other 8 of you, hello. So you like iPhone much more. Oh, I love the iPhone. I'm in the ecosystem, Mink. I have Apple computers. I have an Apple router. Everything I own is Apple. So I will be replacing my iPhone soon. Mink, to be honest with you, it was a shocker to me. This isn't my first time traveling and scoping. Not at all. I scoped in Rome, I've scoped in Paris, I've scoped in Germany, I've scoped in Switzerland. I was telling you that when I was in Singapore. So it was not my first time scoping in a touristy area where you need to be very, very cautious. It was not my first time. However, it was a defining moment. Singapore was definitely one of the places that I felt most safe scoping. I would say that the least safe I felt was in Paris. Paris, I was worried the most. For the Mink's been talking, but for the other 10 that are here, I'd love to know where you're watching from. And a curious question I always ask people, are you a viewer or are you a broadcaster? Do you broadcast yourself or do you just like to watch? Welcome, a noun, to your first day on scope. Hello, Sir John. Soriana? Hello, everyone. Everyone, feel free to say something. San Francisco. San Francisco, is that David? David, I see you on my fiery, I don't know what that list is called, but David, I see that you watch my scopes. You broadcasted once. Mink, I didn't see your one broadcast. Anyone else want to share? Do you broadcast or do you just view? I kind of wanted to ask you guys a question before I started pointing out some of the things that we see here. One of which is right there. Look at that. This is Southeast Asia. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Wow, the iPad zoom feature, the pinch to zoom feature works crazy good. You have another account, Mink. Okay, well that's... I actually used to view from one account and scope from the other account. I was the same way. But I've since then decided that it's a pain in my butt. Anyone else want to share? Do you broadcast? I'm really interested in knowing which broadcasters are watching me and which viewers are watching me. It is raining. But listen, that's the perfect time to scope. Because if it's not raining, the Celsius would be like 33. It's crazy. It's like over 100. Over 100, usually. Anyone else want to share? I do have a couple things I'd like to point out. I've not seen a cobra. If I did, I might move immediately. Anybody else want to share? Otherwise, I'm just going to go on with my spiel. Mink, it is Sunday afternoon. I don't have class today. I am a traditional teacher. I teach Monday to Friday. I do teach in a regular school. I am not in a 5-star hotel, although that is a 4-star building. It's a performance hall. Yeah, Mink, Mink, I'm only a couple hours different from you. You're in what, the Philippines? Oh, Malaysia? I can't remember. I'm sorry. Alright, I will go on with my spiel. I'm not in a village. Thank you for asking, because that's exactly what I wanted to point out. So, I put in the title here, and it wasn't just like one of those things the lower you're in. So much beauty in Vietnam can be seen right here from my balcony. I've never scoped from my balcony before. I'm not really I like to scope from the ground. But I wanted to point out, I am in one of the 2 towers, one of the newest apartments in town. It's 26 stories tall. And that's exactly what I love to point out about Vietnam, is that so much of a difference can be seen in such a short period or a distance. Yes, it is a relaxed day for me, Mink. I've already left the house once to go to the market, and I am back. 26 stories in South Vietnam. Is that a mountain? Yes, we will talk about mountains in a minute. Well, we can talk about it now. There's a mountain in front of me, behind me, beside me. I'm surrounded by mountains. So here you see in the distance a 4-star location. They have famous singers, they have weddings, they have parties, they have everything. They even do the rooftop thing right there. And I'm a little entertained by what goes on there. Also, we have a multi-million-dollar house. From here, it looks like nothing, but from the ground, you can see why it's so expensive. Now, I don't know that they use it as a hotel anymore. I just know that there's performances there, Mink. Now, below me, and I don't mean to expose the people that live here, is exactly, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Harry. It's 2:30 p.m. nearly here. Below me, right beside this 26-story dual tower beauty of a buildings that I live at, are the poorest of the poor. And I don't want to make it a sad scope, but it's just amazing to me how you could get from here to my building through here. They're all metal all around. Some of them, as you can see, have tarps to support their metal roof. They don't have a place to hang their clothes, so just hang about the tarps. There's a lot of kids that are usually running around there. There are motorbikes that run along this lake here. This is an artificial lake. Yeah. They are either poor or they're temporary residents. Construction workers and different people that work on the beach, because the beach is right behind me. Okay, well don't burn the house down, Mink. I'll see you in a bit. There goes our hearts. Mink's going to cook. So some of them, they just have an alternate lifestyle. Are they in the rain? I would imagine that most of these leak. You can see where this one doesn't completely close at all. You can see I've seen people fight right here. I mean, I don't want to be nosy, but it's just right in front of my balcony. I mean, what else am I going to look at? Other than this building, which is usually very busy. Hello, welcome to the Scope. If you're new, please drop in where you're watching from, and if you're a broadcaster or a viewer, I'd love to know. I've seen families here. They kind of hang out. They've had parties here. I wish I would have scoped that, but it was at night, and there's just no great way for the lighting. They have just now. Let me see if I can find it. You can see the bars on my balcony. I told you I'm scoping from my balcony. Oh, they've closed it in. They've closed it in. Right? They do have... Hello, from Jakarta. They do have electricity down there. Although, if you look at night, there's only like 1 or 2 lights total. Right there. You used to be able to see someone's bathroom right here. Like, I mean, I wasn't trying to be nosy, but I just looked down one time and I was like, wait a minute, that's someone's bathroom. And they weren't very shy about that. They've just covered that. And it might be because of this building that I'm in. Mink, you're listening, but you're the only one giving hearts. Thank you, Mink. It is in my profile. I'm an American living in Vietnam. I wanted to make the title, Have You Ever Thought of Living or Visiting Vietnam? But I figured that could be another scope. So yeah, kind of in people's personal lives here. You know, you can see work trucks. You can see them come home. They do come home later than usual. I come home at about 5:30. I'm from an apartment. A large apartment building. This is like the 21st century. This is 21st century next to the still developing country. The still developing country. Yes, they do love these like little Tonka trucks here. Now I have noticed that these guys don't come home at your expected time of 5:30, 6 o'clock. They come usually around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So these guys work late, get up early. They're usually out of bed and gone before I wake up. I wake up at 5:30. And at 5:30, you can barely see somebody leaving the houses. And I've stayed out here from 5:30 to 7 before and never seen someone leave. They were already gone. They were already gone. I caught them one time at about 4:30, 5 o'clock leaving. You see all the bikes leaving. I'm from Florida. So, that is the stark contrast, guys. The stark contrast. What do I teach? I'm a traditional school teacher. I teach English language arts and social studies at an international school. I'm a traditional school teacher. I teach Monday through Friday. I just wanted to point out this stark contrast because I live in the 21st century building. This is one of the nicest buildings in town. It's slated to have a Louis Vuitton, a 26th floor cafe, which I will of course scope if they have it. They have not landed an owner yet, but they've already built the rooftop to support a business. And then you have this, and then you have this. Is a lot of visitors come here. Buses will park here, and there'll be I don't know, concerts. There'll be celebrations. Yeah, well, this is second world. They're no longer in the poor country status. They're in the developing. Why don't you teach English to slum kids? Well, that's a thought. That's a thought because I have to eat. And you know, maybe sometime in the future, I may be able to open up something for the community to where I can help people that are less fortunate. But unfortunately, right now, I teach the 1% as of the 1%. As a pastime, because I'm in graduate school. I'm teaching and I am in graduate school. I'm finishing my degree online from a distance. Yeah, so there we go. Now, that's just right below my house. I also maybe want to point out, what do I study? I am traditional English a traditional education master's degree, so I'll have a higher level license. I'm getting a master's of science in education. Social science concentration. As a pastime, because I don't have time to pass. To answer your question, I don't have time to pass. I barely have time today. Alright, so there we go. Beside me is like a super touristy place. Right here along the water is a bakery. This is not Hanoi, this is southern Vietnam. There's a bakery, a cafe. They run along the water. This one in the back is actually closed down, but it used to sell rice. And up on the hill, actually, I can't really, I wish I could show it. I can't really highlight it because the lights aren't on, but right there has a beautiful, beautiful vantage point of the city, especially at night. I'm really afraid of holding my my iPad like between the bars. We have pagodas, temples. I actually think that's a house right there in the center of the picture. And then pagodas and temples all spread throughout. This area is split sort of half and half. It is not Ho Chi Minh City, it's Vung Tau. This area is split sort of half and half between, you're welcome, between Catholic and Buddhist. And let's say thirds. The other third would be non-religious. You can also see another temple right here across the street. That's the orange house. It's more like a shrine. You see the gold right beyond the orange. Right there. That's a shrine. They're all over this street. This is called Hoang Hoa Tam and Valt Sao. Thank you. Thank you, Ling. I'm going to say Thai Ling, but Ling. Now, what do I study? A master's degree in education. Master's degree in education. I'm a practicing teacher. There's a cathedral here somewhere, but I haven't been to it. I've seen churches, but I don't know which one's the cathedral holding the bishop of the area. Now, what's place do I sightsee? I usually go along the water, Mink, and I'll scope it soon enough. Yesterday I explored a lot. It's on my Instagram. There are mountains in this area. This area is essentially mountains. And on top of this mountain is actually a park. You can't even see the park right now because of the haze that's moving in. In the very far distance there, you could barely see those cable cars going up. I've almost forgotten 2:30 p.m. I've almost forgotten how to mark. No, they're not volcanic. They're not volcanic. So usually, yesterday I actually explored this mountain in front of us from 3 different angles. It took me 6 hours. I climbed some of it. I drove my motorbike on other parts of it. I will scope the I think it's a monastery that's on the top of halfway up the hill. You can see it right behind that building. Right there. It's barely viewable with all the haze in the air in the rain. All the foggy, smoggy. It's pretty much anything with og in the name. Let me see here. We do have, this was an interesting thing. We do have some successes and failures. This is a major tourist area, but also these buildings have actually gone 100% bankrupt. They've already put up 20 plus stories and they're 100% bankrupt. Maybe I'll take a picture of them, put it on my Instagram sometime. And sandwiched between that, this is the Southeast Asia typical, right? This is not, guys, this isn't Spain or Europe or in any way, shape, or fashion. This isn't Paris, Rome. They don't meticulously plan these neighborhoods. They just stick a house wherever they can. They don't care the angle. They don't care which way it faces. They just don't care. They just put it up and make it happen. The white building on the right there is a school. This lake, I like to call it like the Central Park Lake. It stretches all the way down. So I think it's 2 kilometers long. I'm still getting used to the difference between a kilometer and a mile. It is a man-made lake, and though you can't really see it, let me see if I can get it in here. I think it serves both purposes. You do see people fishing on this lake, which is crazy to me. There's a lot of littering there. Whoever's honking that horn is like super annoying. You can see him right there. Hold on. I'm gonna expose him. Expose this guy. Buddy, they heard you the first 3 times. Look, he's just honking and pointing. And honking and pointing. That guy is annoying. Alright, there's a lot of littering on this lake, and it's black in color. It's not gray because of the rainy day. That's the natural. It's ugly. I would probably die. I can swim, but I don't know if I would survive the water in that lake. Yes, they do, because they're super poor. It was probably leaking, so they just put like plastic or tarp or anything they could find on top. So it's a little different right here at night, guys. I want to scope so bad at night, but you just can't see anything. I've come out here a couple times. You can't see anything. I can see with my eye, but my phone isn't good enough. I do have a pro camera, but I can't figure out a way to hook it to periscope. Right here, oh, my finger is like losing the focus. Yeah, hold on one second. Let me see if I can't mark. How do I mark? Oh my goodness. Yes, you can find Western food. I don't know about American. Marking, no marking. Start sketching. There you go. No, start sketching. I didn't say share. Right here. Opens up to have street food at night. They also sell stuff. There's a lot of locals that go there. I don't know of any Americans that have businesses here. I just know Western food is here. Well, I'm 11 stories up, so I don't know how that treats the scale, but I'm not so far up that everything's like a little ant. I mean, you can still very clearly see people walking down there when they're walking. Christian, that's actually a great thing to point out. Thank you. So Vietnamese, and I've seen it all over Southeast Asia, they like to build skinny but tall. That is very, and I mean 100% typical. 100% typical. I mean, if you look, you see the white one in the distance, the blue one that's right beside the white one even further up. You look over here, see the back of that building. You look right here, look right next door. They do skinny but tall. That's just their thing. Look all the way in the distance. It doesn't really stop. I should have left the sketch on. But my finger keeps taking the camera out of focus. I think we can see the dome of something interesting there. I don't really know what that's the dome of. I've never been. I don't know what that is. I'd love to go. And maybe the peak of a pagoda there. Many things I haven't seen yet. I've been here for 2 months, but I do teach. I'm there at the school 9 to 11 hours a day, so I haven't had much opportunities to go around. It is congested, guys. I am curious about. I've hit 2 buttons, and my question to you is, what happens on your screen? Does there a pop-up? Does it pop up on the bottom right? You don't even have to respond to it. Just tell me what it does. Because I didn't scope for like a year, and that's new to me. Does it send out to my Twitter? What just happened when I press these buttons? Hold on, I'm about to check my Twitter. I have another device. Twitter. Nothing happened on my Twitter. So is it a pop-up? I'm gonna join your scope and you hit the button. I'll see what it does. How about that? Motorbikes. Where's a great way to look at the motorbikes? There we go. Share button popped out. So is it an actionable item? Do you have to press something, or will it just go away? I haven't watched as many scopes lately, and if I have, maybe they're not pimping their scope. Well, that's cool, cooking stuff. Motorbikes are popular, so are cars in this area because it's a tourist area. I would say that out of, you have to press something. Okay, I'll try. Hello, perplexing duck. Welcome to your first time Periscope. I'll try not to press that too much then, because it's kind of annoying to like force people to press that button. Thank you for the feedback. I don't want pop-ups. That's kind of annoying. Although if you want to share, that's great. Well, if I'm showing something very interesting, I would say I'd pimp it out. Like, please share my stuff, and I send that out to you. But right now I'm just sitting on my balcony, so I don't really know if that's an appropriate situation. Motorbikes, guys. So here's your $1 million house, and you notice there's a motorbike parked on the side. Guys, it's not about money. This is the most common misconception about Vietnamese. Now, it does take way more money than you'd expect to buy a car, because they tax it at like 100% tax, meaning you pay 200% of the value. 200% of the value. So it is very expensive to get a vehicle here, a four-wheeled vehicle. However, rich or not, even the people with the Mercedes, the Audis, it doesn't matter. They have a motorbike, or 2 or 3, because that's just the way the culture is built. I want to point something out right here. See that business right there? You can barely see it when I zoom in because it's terrible digital zoom. But you see those motorbikes right there? They're parked in the business practically. You pull up right to wherever you want to go. I mean, right to it. So I mean, it's all about convenience. It's all about their society. That's just the way it's built. That's not illegal. You're not going to get a ticket. The police aren't going to come and take your motorbike. That's normal. So if you want to drive a four-wheel vehicle, look, even the four-wheel vehicles have to park on the sidewalk because Vietnam's not really built to accommodate them yet. And to be honest, as congested as this area is, I don't know that they ever will be. Unless they just build underground parking garages or above ground, but parking garages. You see here, even though there's a sidewalk, culturally, some Vietnamese just don't give a dang. That guy, I'm not quite sure, well, what he's doing. All right. So that's just something I want to point out is the motorbikes. It's very normal. If you check out my Instagram, you'll see I take pictures of people, 4 people to a motorbike. I haven't caught 5 people to a motorbike yet. Uber and Grab are both here. I use Lyft, though. I use Lyft. Beautiful house with plants on the roof. Okay, I zoomed in, but I didn't even see it myself. It's keen observation. What else can I see from here? Now, what you're looking at in the distance, that big gray area with those boats, would be the water. I do live surrounded by water. There's water in front of me, beside me, and behind me. I'm surrounded by water. I'm on a peninsula. So that is what is considered front beach. Show the horizon. That is the horizon to the best of this camera's ability. And to be honest with you, with my eye, it's just as gray and white and ugly. I really appreciate you guys dropping in hearts and comments. I really, honestly can't stand just turning on a scope and having no comments. That's just really boring as a broadcaster. Let's see what you can see. This is considered front beach in front of me. Back beach is behind me. Can we, is there any of my favorite, are you heading out, Mink? Of course. Yes, I will. I just wanted to actually, hateful soul, I just wanted to test scoping with my iPad. I'm not going to walk out in the streets with my iPad. So the whole purpose today was to scope from my balcony, point out some stuff I see, and really test how the scope works for my iPad. Because my Android app hasn't been working at all. Not even a little bit. I deleted the scope from yesterday because it just didn't work. The comments didn't work, the tweet scope didn't work, nothing works on the Android app. Nothing works. I'm trying to see if there's anything interesting in picture here. I know there's a 5-star hotel. Hello, hurricane and tornado. There's a 5-star hotel right there. The white one, I think, is the 5-star. To the left is a 4-star, right behind those trees. I'm on floor 11. There's 26 in this building, so I'm actually below halfway. We've already talked about that shrine and pagoda. Let's see here. What's in sight? Hello, Harley. Welcome to your first day on Periscope. You can see the cable cars. They are still running in the rain. You would have to pay me to get on those cable cars at this time of the morning. You can see a few freight or ocean liners right there. There's one in the shadow in the distance. There's another one here. This is a famous port in town. The port is actually to the right, so they're either coming or going, or just parked and anchored. That front beach right there that you see has a lot of businesses, beautiful parks. It's 2:40. 2:45. A lot of businesses, a lot of parks, some fantastic cafes, one of which I scoped from the other day. 700 people joined my scope to just sit there. I do have 30 megabits down. I had to bribe somebody to get it. Well, semi-bribe. I don't know if it's considered like a legitimate bribe, but I call it that. He said you have to have a business stamp. And I was like, you don't have a stamp laying around? He's like, I got you. So I got the business stamp to get higher speed internet. Because, now I want to point something out. I've been ignoring it so far. Let me point it out. I don't know where it's coming from. I think it's coming from down here. But listen, do you guys hear the karaoke? Can you hear it? I mean, the guy is like yelling in the most I don't care way. I have to point something out to you. Vietnamese aren't embarrassed by that as much as you think they are. I mean, like, when you go to a situation where there's a Vietnamese like that karaoke is so deep into their culture. It is so deeply entrenched into their culture that, I mean, yes, people hear how terrible it is. They do. They'll make faces. Like, say his brother or sister or wife will make a face, but they don't think it's embarrassing. They just say, okay, some people can sing, some people can't, but everyone karaoke's. I don't karaoke, but they say, okay, some people sound good, some people don't, but they have no shame. You hear them? So. Oh my gosh. I wish I had gall like that. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. There's just nothing. He's been karaokeing since 11 a.m. this morning. He was probably a little bit wasted by like 10. No, not down there. Not as a white guy. There are some karaoke places across the street from my place. He's definitely enjoying his Sunday afternoon. 100%. I've been to karaoke places, many of them. Hello, Jed411. I think I've seen you or someone with that name in my replay reel. Welcome. I see a lot of people dropping in. Let's see the stats here. Broadcast details. 305 people have come in and out. Thank you guys for the hearts. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. I don't have any stars. Cheap followers. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I do it for the freeness, apparently. First super heart. Well, thank you. Ask and you shall receive. Thank you for the super heart. I really appreciate it. Guys, I'm intrigued. I've sat up here for hours and hours and just watched and listened and really absorbed the city from here. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. I will scope from the ground, guys. As I said a few minutes ago, the purpose of scoping from my balcony today was because I think it's cool, 1, and 2, because I'm scoping from an iPad Pro 10.5. I am not walking around town, even though I do have LTE, I am not walking around town with my iPad Pro 10.5. I'll get robbed immediately. I will get robbed immediately, but I really wanted to see if iOS ran better than my Android. iOS ran better than Android. Yeah, no, someday, I mean, my goal is to scope every day. I'll probably scope in the morning or evening. The middle of the day seems like a terrible time. That is another thing I'm testing, guys. I watch other scopers from Asia. I do watch them actively, especially from Hong Kong. Shout out to my favorite scoper ever, which is Jonathan JK in Hong Kong. If you guys haven't seen him, he's hilarious. He's the guy that got me onto Periscope, so I have to mention his name, even though he's never solicited such shout out. But I do watch other scopers from Asia, and the following in the middle of the day is terrible. They have people follow in the morning, 6, 7 a.m., and there's people at evening time, 7 p.m. or later, 6:30 p.m. or later. Middle of the day is a terrible time to try to get followers or try to get people interested in scopes. I have scoped very, I will try to stay safe, perplexing. I've seen very interesting scopes of very, I mean, just absolutely great presentation, great content, great comments. Everything is perfect, and they'll have 20 people in the scope. And I've also seen people like smoking weed and getting naked and have like 1.5 thousand people in there, but it's at like 9 o'clock at night. In Asia, it's 9 o'clock at night. So, yeah, thanks. I really appreciate the super heart. I mean, I really appreciate your comments as well. So thanks for that. If this is, thank you, Drianto. If you want to tell me how I'm supposed to say that, I'll address you accordingly. Thank you for inviting followers, guys. I really appreciate it. The last couple scopes, as I mentioned before, have not included comments because my Android app does not show the comments, not at all. So I really appreciate you guys engaging while I have comments working. I don't really know how to proceed from here because I'm not taking my my iPad Pro out and about in the streets. So I have to go back to the Android app. So if I want to go scope a market, or if I want to go scope, something I think is interesting in Vietnamese culture, like maybe one of these karaoke places, I have no idea how we're going to do this if I can never get comments. because I like to walk in Scope. If you look at my replay reel, I've walked through Rome, I've walked through Germany, I walked through Switzerland. I like to walk in Scope. I walked in Las Vegas, Disney, in Orlando. I like to be mobile. I like to move. But I can only rely on my iPad right now. So this is a really bad situation. Bad situation. So this is something I'm finding out. And I don't really know how we're going to approach it from here forward, but I'd love to share the city with you. Of course, if I'm stationary, I'll just use my iPad. If I'm stationary, I'll just use my iPad. If I trust where I'm sitting. Let's see if I can get something from over here. It's a little more difficult because I'm not sticking my iPad further through the bars than I already have. I can't really show you the neighborhood to the right. I wish I could. I wish I could. I think the most interesting thing that I've seen, I've witnessed a couple car accidents right there at that bend. You can see, unfortunately, this is Southeast Asia, guys, and it's, particularly Vietnam. You can see people pissing on the side of the street. They'll just whip it out, no shame. Usually you can see a handful of kids playing right here near the nasty lake, in which, if they fell in, may not survive the fall. Thank you, Meek, for the hearts. Thank you, the several people that have left hearts, and the few people that have shared. I really do appreciate it. I am someone that broadcasts way more than I watch. So I of course appreciate it. Is that what I think it is? Can I see it? Can I see it? That is a common thing, guys. Oh, this is normal. This is normal. They're just doing the little chicken thing. They're on the side of the road anywhere. They don't care where they're at. Oh, they don't care where they're at. It does not matter. It does not matter. Guys, I know this is like the shanty town right here, but they're everywhere. They're by the 5-star, the 3-star, the 2-star. They don't care. I saw one running down the street the other day while I was driving my motorbike. It almost made me stop and start recording. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. The Cabanera, you got to get an Instagram photo of this because, you worked so hard on it, man. I really wish I can say this is just because it's in the ghetto part of town, but no, it's really normal. Thank you. Whoever shared, my people that are following or people that are viewing live doubled as soon as you shared. So thank you for that. And I appreciate you guys. I really do. I haven't asked for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Do I have any broadcasters watching right now? Or are we just viewers? Does everyone share where you're from? If you broadcast or if you view? My little check-in. I'm in Vung Tau, Vietnam. It's southern Vietnam. Anybody want to share if you broadcast? Are you a broadcaster or are you just a viewer? Maybe I'll stop talking about Vietnam for a second. Maybe talk about you. This is your chance. Oregon. I'm missing the States sometimes, Oregon. I'm from Florida. I do miss the States sometimes. Anybody else want to share? You will notice it's November. Look how green the greenery is. Guys, they don't really have winter here. Today's cold. Hey, North Carolina. Today's cold, quote unquote cold, but it's still 80 degrees outside, or 78 with the wind. I still can't. How are the women here? In what context? Hateful, do you have a name other than hateful? In what context, how are the women here? You mean, are they nice? Are they beautiful? Are they funny? Do they speak English? Life 503 can be whatever you make of it. That depends on your definition of beautiful, hateful. But yes, I think they're above average. Life here is great, depending on what your standards are. I do eat street food. I do eat locals lunch every single day. I eat rice. I do drive a motorbike. I did not buy a four-wheeled vehicle. But to contrast that, I live in one of the largest apartment towers in town. And it's brand new. It's still a construction site. I actually live at a construction site. Only half of the building is done. So it's construction all day long. But it really depends on what your standards are and how you plan to live. And how much money you make. I do make a decent wage. It's not rich, but I'm not poor. Let's just expose this guy, and he looks, I don't know if he's angry. No, I live here, and I teach here. Saigon is amazing. Where did you go in Saigon, Wine Geeker? Where did you go in Saigon? What do they pay on average? Can I ask you a little more details, 503, for an American or for a local? He just looks like he's walking with such purpose, and I just want to... I hope to see you again, my friend. I hope to see you again. Can you give me more context? Because the income gap here is ridiculous. See ya, Mink. Nick, I really enjoy having you in the scopes. I'm about to start scoping on your schedule so you can be here. I won't share what I get paid, but I will say this. I get paid, stayed on the Riviera. Wow. The walking street, Bois Vient. Bois Vient is great. That's where I got my phone lifted. Nick, I hope to see you soon. Tweet me your schedule, and I'll scope on your schedule. Nick. So an average local wage can be anywhere from 4 million, which is 200 US, to 10 million if you have a college degree. 10 million is about 500 US. If you are Western with a degree, you can get paid 20 million and up if you find the right job, although it may be hard to find the right contract. I am a legal worker, which means I've gone through all of the steps to get a legal contract through Vietnam's government. And there was a lot of steps to submit my degree from my university, to submit my background clearance from the federal government of the USA. There was a lot of steps to get paid what I get paid and to get the contract I have. I have a 2-year contract with an international school. I am considered a temporary resident. It's like a green card in America, just like a green card in America. A temporary resident, which ironically it is green here. Naples. I'm from Panama City, Ryan Geeker. I'm from Panama City. Thank you guys for joining. There's a lot of new people here. Please, I have an ongoing question. If you're a scoper, if you broadcast, or if you just view, I'd love to hear where you're watching from. Thank you guys for the hearts and the shares. I really appreciate it. I managed to get a super heart. 2 million is not sufficient to pay bills. If you had 2 million, you'd have to live with about 6 people. To live here, you could live off of 5 million. This is 5 million, 4 million. If you want to live here, if you rent one room here, you need about 8 million or 6 million a month. 4 million will go towards rent, the rest will go towards living. If you actually want to have a house like that, it's about 12 million per month. 12 million per month. So it takes a lifetime to build a house. Just a viewer. Do we have any broadcasters in the live viewing right now? Any broadcasters? Anyone here broadcast? So to live in this kind of neighborhood, this is a lifetime's worth of wages. They don't do financing or mortgages in the sense that we do here, or in the United States, where we just mortgage something in our mid-20s, early 30s. They will save for a lifetime and then just build a house, and that'll be the only house they've ever lived in. It'll be a family house for generations to come. So really, if you're Western, even if you try so hard, I'm gonna have to check out your replay reel, Ryan Geeker. I'm really interested in Hong Kong. If you're a Westerner and you try very, very much so to assimilate to local culture, like I have a motorbike from Colombia. Great, hello. I do have a motorbike. I do eat locals' food the majority of the time. I would say, though I get paid more than that, I would say to absolutely survive, I would need about 17 million per month. Just to survive. I mean, get by. Don't move here if you can't meet that standard. Now, if you are willing to live way, way more like a local, don't live in an apartment like mine. You met up with Penguin 6. He's a very popular scoper. Why do I live here? I'll answer that in just a second. If I was willing to live with roommates and not live in an apartment complex, and to lower the standard of what I eat even further than I have, I could live off maybe 10 million per month. 10 million as a Westerner. I moved here because I got a contract with an international high school, or international school, because I actually work on the elementary side right now. I do work on the elementary side, though I look to possibly moving to the high school side next year. But I work at an international school. It's contracted here. Thank you guys, the new people that have dropped in. I keep seeing it pop up on the bottom left. I want to say hello, welcome. I have been scoping for like 20 minutes now. Thank you everyone that has. You could move here. Wine Geek, did you find, I'm curious, I am curious, did you find anything that was hard to accept when you came here? What was hard for you to grasp as a fellow Westerner? I've been showing this same view for a little while, but guys, I look at this for hours. Was it difficult to transfer your education? Absolutely not. It was difficult to verify my education. In America, everything is digital. But here they want the physical degree to be notarized and stamped all the way up to the federal level. I had to send it off to Washington, D.C. to get it notarized and stamped and signed. But once I did that, they accepted it with open arms. And when I get my master's degree, I'll have to go through it again. I'll have my master's hopefully in May. So many motorbikes. Okay, what about the food? Did you do good with the food, Mikey? He's quiet singing? Quit singing, quit singing. No, I read that too quickly. No, you can hear him. Listen. I think he's just losing a little bit of his voice. Before he was bellowing, now he's just kind of getting it in. Woo! Most of the world. Where's your favorite place, Wine Geek? I've traveled a little bit of the world. Not a lot, but I've been around a smidge. This guy's having a good time. He's had a few Tiger beers. This is very obvious. I'm going to see if I can hold my iPad with like my legs for a second. Why is it difficult? It's not difficult to transfer, it's just difficult to verify. Do I see a lot of Westerners? 1 second, 503. Remind me of that. I'm taking a sip of water. So it wasn't difficult to transfer it was just difficult to verify it. Because in the United States we do everything digitally, but here they want to verify by paper degree, which is so weird to us. For beauty, I like the Maldives. Oof, I'd love to go. Haven't been. But I think my next foreign trip is going to go back to Europe. I might go to Finland, and then maybe I want to go back down to Germany and Italy. So getting my degree here, just verifying it, because they don't want to take it digitally. They don't want to take it the way we do it in the States. However, they accept it. They didn't like criticize the accreditation my school has. They didn't criticize they don't care about classes I took. They just care that I had a valid degree. Honestly, it does have to be an accredited university, but they didn't criticize. Like, I didn't go to an Ivy League. They never like hit me over the head like, oh, it is an Ivy League, we don't want this. So it was just in a normal school. Buenos Aires. Oh, these are places that are just on the top. There's just so many places. I mean, it's such a big world, and you could drop some money going around. Oh, there we go. I skipped that question, 503. Thanks for reminding me. Thank you, Perplexing Duck. Hopefully you followed. I'll see you in another scope, hopefully. Yes, 503. Thank you for reminding me. This is a tourist town. So there's an above average number of white people here. Most of them are from Australia or Russia. Not a lot of Americans. There are some very... Thank you, Perplexing Duck. I really appreciate it. There are some very, very authentic Italian places here. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. One man, I've met the owner. He was born in France. He grew up in Italy. He fresh does everything. His ham is fresh. His pastries are fresh. His pizza dough is fresh. His bread, everything he does is fresh. If he can make it in-house, he makes it in-house. And it's crazy nice. And I'm comparing that to the fact I've been to France and I've been to Italy. Hoi An, Dalat. Hoi An's underwater right now. Be careful. Dalat and Sapa are absolute treasures. I haven't been to Sapa, but I've read up on it. Dalat, I have been to several times. It's super great. Kind of place you need a coat and an umbrella, but it's amazing. You can go to some Western places on the beach. I will say, if you cannot accept Western or Eastern food, if you cannot accept the Vietnamese food, it's very easy to eat as a Westerner here. It's very easy. There's about 10 businesses that are the staple. About 10. Thank you for the new people that have dropped in. I really appreciate it. I have an ongoing question that it's been about 5 minutes since I've asked. I'd love to know where you're watching from, and if you're a broadcaster or just a viewer, I'd really love to know. It is raining here. I can't really scope outside, but scoping from the balcony is not so bad. We're just gonna say hello to the local. Hello, local. You're not bothered by this rain at all. There you go. We do have some entertainment, live entertainment, brought to you by Drunk Vietnamese Man down here. You can hear him bellowing. There's a couple I'm sorry, Wine Geek, I don't know the reference to that. I don't know if you're referring to where I'm living or where you said, because I was looking at that local. But yes, here there's a couple. There's like 3, 2 of which are very, very authentic. 2 of the Italian restaurants in this city could hold their weight in Italy, no questions asked. And I've been to, let's say, 10 Italian cities. They could hold their weight in Italy. You hear? He has a partner. Can you hear it? Wow, they're drunk. Wow, wow, wow. I want to have that kind of good time. Midday on a Sunday. Look at all these new people jumping in. Hello. Tell me where you're from. Tell me if you're a broadcaster. Tell me if you're just a viewer. Tell me you're alive. Put a comment. Don't be afraid. I see some yellow hearts on the bottom right. I really appreciate those hearts. Whoever you yellow-hearted person is. Whoever you are. I'm sorry. It's the English teacher slipping out of me on the weekends. I talked a little bit in the beginning of the scope about the features around my apartment. Right now I'm just enjoying a little bit of chatting with you guys. If you're from Chicago, have you tried to scope Chicago? I think you'd have a following if you scope Chicago. Wildlife scopes in your backyard. You know, I probably won't get tired of sitting here, though you guys might get tired of the view. I don't get tired of it. I sit out here hours at a time. Wildlife. What kind of things do you see in the wildlife there, Wine Geek? Thank you guys for joining live. I appreciate it. I know a few of you, I noticed it popped up that you shared. I appreciate that as well. Alligators, I would move immediately. Even though I did live in Florida, we didn't have very many alligators in Panama City. They're not in northwest Florida as they are in southern Florida. Thank you guys for joining and sharing and hearting and commenting. I pay a very low amount. I don't know. I paid 6 months in advance, but I think it's something to the tune of $10 a month. I think it's $10 a month. Does that sound right? It sounds right. Maybe less? $8 a month? 7? That's 30 down, guaranteed. 30 down and up. Now they do have more outages here than you would expect in the Western world, but when it's working, it's 30 down, 30 up. It's ridiculous. See, the mountain, if you were at the beginning of the scope, that's crazy because I've been here for like a half hour, but if you were here at the beginning of the scope, that mountain, you could see the top. Just the top was covered. Now you can almost not see it at all. I mean, this storm is moving in. And you can pretty much, all is lost. You can pretty much not see the cable cars at all anymore. It was $60 a month where I was living in Alabama right before I left, and I only had 15 down on a good day and 7 up. It was terrible. These guys are not fazed by the rain. I mean, they do live in a tropical climate. We're going to see some bikes come around the bend in just a second. There you go, one. Several to follow. They do live in a tropical climate, and they do drive by motorbike every single day. Every single day. So it rains, they just throw on the raincoat and keep on trucking. It's just life, guys. I've done it. I've done it to and from school. It did suck getting soaked before a day of teaching. I am, as I say, a traditional teacher. My minimum schedule is 5 classes per day. Some days I have 7 classes per day, which makes for a long day if you're soaked. Makes for a long day if you're soaked. Here you go, you lonesome motorbike, you. I don't know what's down there, but there's apparently something interesting because we've seen people walk. Capital of Vietnam is in Hanoi. It's northern Vietnam. I'm in southern Vietnam. I'm near the economic center of Vietnam, which is Saigon. Gore-Tex. No, it's the exact opposite of Gore-Tex. It's more like thin plastic that's supposed to be single use, but they use it about 20 times. Guys, I really appreciate the hearts, and I appreciate you jumping in. Have you met anyone? Oh, that's a good question. Frank, that is a good question. If I could give you a heart, I would give you a heart. That's a good question. Cheap ponchos. 503. That's a good question. Yes, there are many people here that do not like Americans. There are some people here that never let the war go. Now, they're a little bit younger. 2 hours. They're a little bit younger than the generation that went through the war, but they are the children. They are the children of those who went through the war. And some of the older people are actual people that lived here during the war times. and lived in different places where it was war-ridden. So every once in a while, you'll get a glare from someone that you know does not want an American near them. Now, I do speak a little bit of Vietnamese. I am polite as much as possible. I smile a lot when I'm around locals, not in a very rude smiling sense, but sort of 2 hours by car. Just tell them you're Russian. Well, maybe that'll work, but I don't have the accent. I have had a few glares. I had one the other day. It just shocked the heck out of me. I mean, she even hissed at me. She hissed at me when I walked by her. She stared at me for so long, I just stared back. I stared back. I was so uncomfortable by it, I just stared back. And she started hissing at me. It was very weird. It was an encounter I'd never experienced before. And I've been coming here since 2010, and now I live here. I've never heard or seen this before. We're just gonna pan. We love communism. I heard you the first time. Okay. Well, yeah, Americans typically have a problem admitting that they lost that war, but you know what? That's okay. If you understand your history, then you know how it ended. I'm not going to jump into the politics. Most locals despise communist government more than Americans. Yeah, but I think you're going to have a different experience in the major metropolitan areas like Saigon, mind you. Here in the smaller cities, there's only like 500,000 here. In the smaller cities, they have a different vantage point. If I spoke the language, I could converse with you, join Sequel, but I don't speak the language. I don't speak in English. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys carrying a conversation with me. I could talk about a million things, but I'd rather just talk with you guys. They're very progressive in the city, mind you. They're very progressive in the city. It's a little different here. Although there are a lot of Saigonese people here, traveling down on the weekends. Very few live here permanently. Guys, I do scope on the ground. If you haven't been here since the beginning, then you didn't hear me say it. I'm scoping from my balcony because I think it's interesting and because I'm using my iPad. But I scope from the ground with an Android device, which is a problem because the Android device does not show comments and it doesn't share it on my Twitter. How do I support myself? I am a teacher by profession. I do teach. Wow, Wine Geek. I have almost forgotten. I've almost forgotten the time difference. You are 12 hours behind me for sure. Sweet dreams, man. Thanks for carrying the conversation along. I am scoping from my balcony from my iPad. I typically scope from my Android device. Hello, USA. Where are you at? I'm from Florida. T-Dub. Where are you from? There's a lot to see here. We do have a pagoda. We do have a shrine. We do have a traditional Chinese house. We have motorbikes. We have the Shanty houses, North Carolina. Good deal. I just moved from Panama City just 3 months ago. There's just so much. It's like it's an assault on your eye sockets. There's just so much going on in one picture. If you're new to the scope, I've been scoping for about a half hour. I do ask every 5 minutes or so, hot babes. Well, that's an interesting way to address women. I don't know if a lot of people appreciate it, but some do. It's very foggy today because it's raining and there's a storm moving in. There are beautiful women here, above average, I think. Above average, especially to Western standards. There's so much. It is foggy here. There's a storm moving in. It's raining. If I zoom in, you can actually, it's fog, not smog. It's not smoggy here at all. If you can kind of see the rain when I try to zoom in on like a vehicle. You can see it coming across the screen. I really do appreciate the hearts and the people that are commenting. It's great to carry a conversation. I really appreciate it also if you'd love to share the scope with your followers or your Twitter following. The hearts are always appreciated by a broadcaster. I haven't asked in about 5 minutes. Do we have any broadcasters in the scope? Or we just have all viewers? And where are you guys from? I know I have somebody here right now that's from Carolinas. We just had someone from Florida leave. We had someone from the Philippines just leave. I don't really... What part of what? Balin? What part of what has the hardest babes? Do you mean are they here? Or are they here?
Or do you mean, are they on the beach? Or are they in my apartment complex? What are you asking? I saw the hottest babes like 4 times. I just don't know where you're referring to. Which city? It's subjective, Cian. It's subjective. I would say go to an international city like Saigon, and you could just have a variety of beautiful women, and, you know, if you want to approach one of them, that's great. Is Christmas a thing there? That's a great question. About a third of the city is 100% Catholic, another third is Buddhist, and another third doesn't have religion at all. Doesn't have religion at all. So, yes, Christmas is a thing for about a third of the city. Well, okay, there you go. It's everywhere in this city. It's everywhere in this city, and it's in District 1 in Saigon. Thank you guys, the live viewers, for joining and giving hearts. I appreciate the people that are active. Saigon is the largest economic center in Vietnam. It's also known as Ho Chi Minh City. It's the official name. Can't miss it. It's on a map. It's very large. It's in southern Vietnam. District 1. It's the tourist district. That's where the red lights are. I'm in Vung Tau, and it happens to have red lights all over the place. I am in Barrier Vung Tau, which has a red light district all over the place. They're just everywhere. Just drive at about 5 o'clock. Just drive at about 5 o'clock, and you can't miss it. Thank you, those who have been dropping in. A lot of people cycling through here. We have 17 live, but we've had 591 drop in at one point. Is it hot? Today it is fantastic, John. It's about 75 because there's a storm surrounding me from all angles. 100. I live on a peninsula. I do live on a peninsula. So there's a mountain in front of me, a mountain beside me, and a mountain behind me. It's Vietnam communist. It is the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Yes, they are communists. In degrees, it's 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The nightlife here is great. You can go to a club, you go to a cafe that's amazing, you go to a live karaoke place, it'll sound just like that. You can... This mountainous structure here is completely surrounded by clouds at the moment. Completely surrounded by clouds at the moment. You can do many things. Celsius. Oh, come on. I'm American. 24. That sounds good. 24. Hello, Dave. Welcome, Dave. You guys, if you like the view, share it. If you do like the view, share it. It'd be great. I really appreciate the hearts that have trickled in slowly but surely. Hey, you know, I do broadcast more than I view. 75 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. You guys are making me do mathematics. It is, what did I say? Did I say 24? Because that was crazy. Did I say 24? Leafar. First of all, I have 2 questions for you, Leafar. 1, do you want to go to Lunar New Year or like Western New Year? 1. And 2, what do you expect from your New Year experience? And then I can answer that question better. Guys, if you like the view, if you like Vietnam, if you like to hear this guy karaoke, please share it. Leave hearts. Follow. Western New Year. None of the... Wait, what were the 3 options? Western New Year, what were the 3 options? Can I speak freely about the government? Frank, you have good questions. You really do. Because nobody's asked about Christmas either. Yes, you can speak freely, but not in a public sense. I can't get on like the news channel and tell the government they're terrible. They will void my visa and temporary residence card immediately. However, I could walk in the street and share my opinion, and I'm not going to get like surrounded and tackled and like restrained and gun to my head. So it's a much more free than people would think. Please do not think it is like North Korea. It is not communist in that sense. And people think of communism like they think about the craziness that ensued with the Germans in the past. That's not really what communism is like. Communist just means that, okay, this person owns this house. These poor people own this area. The government owns that land right there. The government owns that land right there. The government owns that land right there. They control the crop production. They control the amount of people that sell crops. They control
I mean, there's loosening the market a little bit, but they have a strong hand in everything. But your day-to-day life, it's not as much control. If I decided today that I'm going to go right here and sell selfies, okay, come take a selfie with a decent-looking white guy for 10,000 Vietnam dong, and I just want to stand right there and get selfies, they're not going to come bang me over the head because of, like, a work permit. And they're not going to come over there and, like, restrain me because I'm standing on the sidewalk and trying to do a business instead of, like, buying a building. There's just not restrictions as we know it in the West, actually. It's less restricted than the United States. In many ways, it's actually less restricted. This is my favorite part of the view. I mean, you have this. This is like authentic. But then you have like a jungle, a miniature jungle. I want a party scene. Okay, thank you, Leaf, for the update. Western New Year party scene. I'm following along. But can you give me the 3 options again? If you've given them to me again, I missed it. I'm sorry, Leaf. Can you give me the 3 options again? Frankie, it's honestly every single day I notice something that I feel was less restrictive than America. I'll give you another example, Frank. You see where those motorbikes are parked? Thai or Vietnam? Thai. Done. Thai. Thailand. 2. I thought there was 3. Thailand. Go to Bangkok. See those motorbikes, Frank? They just pulled right up to the business, parked their front tire. Francesca! Oh, I'll stop what I'm saying to say hello to my great friend Francesca. She joined me in all of my Europe scopes last year. Wow, it's good to see you. But you see how they park the motorbikes right there? Like, in business? I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic, Francesca. How are you? But you see that? In America, that would get you a ticket. That would get you would lose your vehicle. They would tow you. They would do so much to you. But that's just the norm here. Even if they try to put a law on it, you know, there's 500,000 people driving motorbikes in this city alone. So I mean, there's nothing they can do about it. So it's actually less restricted, right? Francesca, it's so good to see you. This is my new home. This is I'm on my balcony. You have like the shanty houses here. That's like they have metal on the top and they have like plastic on the sides and they have tarps keeping the rain out right here. Tarp. And there's like a miniature forest. It looks very tropical, right? Even though it's November. And Francesca, I have a lake, Francesca. I have poor houses, not so poor houses. Francesca, it's just so good to see you. I love seeing a familiar face. Good for business. Oh, I don't know about that. There's a lot of competition because people kind of do it the ghetto way without their business license. There's a lot of competition. Francesca, I can see the traffic day and night, the business environment. In what regard? Do you mean, is it easy to enter the market or is it easy to sustain? In what regard, Leaf? Is everyone guaranteed a job? No, Madnish. These guys probably don't have a steady job. What am I? Francesca, it's raining today. I'm probably just going to stay home and scope. I'm doing it right now, Francesca. I am doing it. These guys probably don't have a steady job. In order to build a house like that, even though it's not like the greatest, you would have to have a very good job. So these guys don't really have a job. Are businessmen honest? And you get, oh no. Leaf, are you white? Yes, you can travel freely, but they do have to register you everywhere you go. Leaf, you can get ripped off as a tourist. Even if you work here, they recognize that I live here because I speak Vietnamese. No, Francesca, I live here now. I live in Vietnam. I'm not traveling, Francesca. I live here. Leaf, if you are a Westerner in any way, or listen, you can be black, you can be Hispanic. It doesn't have to be white. If you're just not Asian, they will try to rip you off. They call me Viet Kieu. It means people that are that are Vietnamese but that weren't born here. So they see me, okay, now I'm a local, but I wasn't born here. So they call me Viet Kieu, and they still try to rip me off. They really do. You have to be very careful. Francesca, I moved here 3 months ago. I teach here now. Capitalism and Vietnamese communism. Madnish, you don't see it day to day. You do not see it day to day. They'll try to rip you off, Leaf. They really will, because they'll notice you're not a local. Capitalism and communism. Thank you. Two people. Capitalism and communism. The difference is you don't see day to day. You truly don't. In communism, most of the control, where you move, I don't understand. One second, Francesca. Ask again in a minute. Let me answer their question. The control they have, you don't see day to day. They control how many farmers there are. They control how many people can sell on the market. They actually control who gets the land to build a farm. You see what I mean? So they control things that you don't see day to day. So I'm Asian from Pakistan. Right, I understand that Pakistan's still Asian, but they're going to see that you're not their type of Asian. You understand? They recognize you're not Vietnamese. That's what I mean. They recognize you're not Vietnamese. It's not to say you're not Asian. They recognize you're not Vietnamese. I understand. You could be Indian, right? You could be other parts of Asian, but you can't. They're going to recognize you're not Vietnamese, and that's where they'll rip you off. So you don't see a day-to-day difference. Most of those differences happen at the governmental level. I will say capitalism has a strong competition, competitive edge because of all the restrictions in the market. But here you see a lot more freelance, very, very grassroots freelance competition. Grassroots freelance competition. Maybe it is Frank Sky, I don't know. Which one? So, thank you, Francesca, for inviting your followers. So, Francesca, I've already forgotten your question. Oh, you said you don't understand where I live. I live in Vietnam. I came here to be a teacher. I got a contract to be a teacher at international school. I'm a teacher at international school. I've been very crazy busy, so I haven't been scoping the city I live in. I really haven't been scoping the city I live in. Thank you guys for the hearts and the shares. I live in Vũng Tàu, Barria. Vũng Tàu, Barria. I haven't been scoping the streets quite yet because Francesca, unfortunately, my phone was stolen in the major city, Saigon. Someone stole it straight out of my hands and drove away. So my Android phone doesn't scope very well at all. I can't see the comments and it doesn't tweet out my scope. So it's very, very bad. I have been scoping from my iPad. Hello, Turkey. I have been scoping from my iPad today and I can see all the comments. I'm in Barria, Vũng Tàu. Barria, Vũng Tàu. Is anyone here a broadcaster or are you guys all viewers? Is anyone here a broadcaster or are you all viewers? You guys can hear my entertainment. It sounds like he's karaokeing right around here. I know it's not here. It's like right here or here. Potentially here. Looks farking hot. Viewer, any broadcasters in the chat right now? No, it's not hot today. It's only 24°C or 75 Fahrenheit. 24°C, 75 Fahrenheit. It's beautiful today. It's what caused me to scope. I've been scoping for almost an hour. And it just feels amazing. Oh, it feels so good. It's normally so hot. It's normally it was like 32°C yesterday. I got sunburned yesterday. Oh, it's normally so hot. Thank you guys for the hearts and for sharing and just for everything, for the questions. Do I date? I have a constant date, also known as a girlfriend. Starting studying English for myself, but something is not so easy. Francesca, it's not easy. What's the water? I'm sorry, what do you mean, what's the water? Do you mean, what is that water? Or like, what does it cost? I don't really understand the context of what's the water. I'm sorry. Francesca, studying English is an endeavor that requires... she's Vietnamese, but she's from America. Oh, that's a lake. It's a man-made lake. Reservoir / something else. She is Vietnamese. She was born in Vietnam. She's born in Vietnam, but she went to my university in America. So actually, she moved from America to Vietnam with me, even though she's born here. It's crazy, right? So I'm dating a Vietnamese, but I met her in America. She's not from here. She's from about 6 hours from here. Is it controlled closely? Not at all. This isn't China. Reservoir, as in like they build it to retain water when it rains, but also it's kind of a lake. You can see, one second. Check it out. You can see that they built like these
It's very communist, right? It's uniform all the way around. They built these marble benches all the way around. Guys, this lake is like 2 kilometers long. So they built like 5 kilometers of these benches all the way down there. I don't know if the view is good enough digitally, but these chairs go all the way down. So this is like a park. This is like a park. Study abroad in Denmark. Where's my girlfriend? She's behind me. I think she's in the kitchen. I think she's in the kitchen. What's my opinion of Trump? Not on this scope. Not on this scope. Francesca, I've always understood you quite well. Even when you joined my scopes in Europe, when you joined my scopes in Vegas, in Orlando, you are my one and only avid follower that's traveled around the world with me. I can reference anywhere, and you were in that scope. That's great. I really like it. In my view is a temple, is a shrine, the gold one, is a traditional Chinese style house. Expat community in your town? Not really. Not really. You are my #1 fan. She's behind me. She's behind me. She's not like behind me as in listening to this scope. She doesn't care about scope. She doesn't care about Periscope. But she's behind me as in inside of my apartment. The food is amazing. You have to be brave. If it has a plastic chair on the side of the street, it's probably somewhere you need to try. Just be careful not to eat the intestines because they don't sterilize them the right way sometimes. Guys, I really appreciate the engagement. I truly appreciate comments and questions. I'm happy to answer them every single time. The storm is moving in. It is most certainly covering this cloud in front of me. I see it now. I have a bot in here. I have a bot. I'm going to get rid of this bot. I'm blocked on the next comment. Dun dun dun. That is Front Beach. The beach is kind of ugly right now because the storm's moving in. You can see that this is a port city, so there's an ocean liner there. They also drill right off the shore here. You can see the drilling platforms on a clear day. Crime is low. It is, Francesca, it is, I have no problem avoiding intestines. Francesca, it's 3:35 p.m. here, Francesca. I got so distracted by that question, but I have no idea what those other 3 questions are. On a clear day, you can see all the way out to the drilling platforms. That's Front Beach. Back Beach is behind me. I am on a peninsula. It goes all the way into the water. I'm surrounded by water on 3 sides. Surrounded by water on 3 sides. Thank you guys for dropping in. I really appreciate having active engagement. If you like seeing Vietnam, I will show Vietnam on the street level. So share it out with your followers, your Twitter followers. Hit the follow button if you'd like to see Vietnam from the ground level. I will walk and scope. I do typically walk and scope. The crime is fine here. I remember I said one thing, it's fine. They don't have, how is the relationship with Cambodia? They don't have violent crime like in the United States. You don't worry about getting shot with a gun over everything. Relationship with Cambodia is at the government level. I haven't really experienced that on my level. Thank you, Arctic Box. I like to scope from the ground. It is raining today. Can you guys see it? I can see it. It's kind of sideways, right? It is raining heavily. I'm just protected by my balcony. Hit the follow button. I will walk around my city. Guys, I do have a problem with comments. Yes, Francesca. Thank you. It is good to see you. Yeah, well, one of them's there. One of them's there, but it's being controlled. It's being taken over by the net. You can kind of see the lift going up. We'll see you soon, Francesca. Thanks for dropping in. Chest Bay. I don't know when. I don't actually know when the rain stops here. It pretty much never stops. It rains in the summer, the fall, the winter. It just rains. It's a tropical climate, which is why you see trees like this in November. See how beautifully green it is. Let's just... Hello, random... Are those tourists? That one on the left definitely looks white. I don't know if these tourists know that they're walking into like a very, very legitimate, like super duper local neighborhood. I'm not 100% convinced that they know where they're going. That's 100% local. That's local as hell. I don't know if they're going to make a return. These tourists may not make a return. There's no hotels back there. There are no hotels back there at all.
Good luck with that. May the odds ever be in your favor. Guys, I pointed this out earlier in the scope. They just put houses wherever they could find a space. You notice that it doesn't line up. You got like a house that's this way, and you got a house that's that way, and you got a house that's this way, and you got a house. They just okay. We got 10 feet of space. We're gonna build 10 feet wide, and however tall we need to make it. They do gardens on top of their house. They do cafes on top of their house, like personal cafe areas. Thank you guys for the hearts. I really appreciate it. Thank you for those who have shared this scope. Thank you for those who have followed from this scope. There's just so much. There's just so much. These guys are about to see the real deal. Look, where are they going? I'm very intrigued by this, by the way. Maybe they're walking along these benches, but they're going to have to walk 5 kilometers to make a full circle. 5 or 6 kilometers. So that's very... This is a school. Although I've never been in front of this school, I think it's a school. They're here. She's wearing pink. They are 100% lost. Oh my God, they've gotten off the beaten path. There's just dirt. They're walking in the rain. It's so shady. Guys, they may go in right here and never come back. They may just go in right there and just never come back. I don't know what to tell you. I just want you to know that I had nothing to do with this. There are nice 21st century buildings here. They're just stuffed wherever the heck they can find space. This is a French colonial style, I think. I don't really know my architecture like that, but it's definitely a French style, I think. They do have parties right here. Tux and tie. Rooftop tux and tie parties. You have like $1 million house right here, followed by the shanty town right here. Tourists for sure. If it's safe, well, it's safe, but listen, here's the deal. It is safe here. It is safe here, but locals don't like it when you go in their private space. And there's nothing touristy about where they're going. Nothing touristy. I have a girlfriend, but she doesn't like to be on Periscope. She does not like to be on Periscope. That's why she's not in the picture right now. So, guys, the rain, you can see that it's raining quite heavily. It doesn't slow people down. They are on the motorbikes, 365 days a year. They're on the motorbikes 365 days a year, and it's just 1 second. I'm just working hard here to clean things up. Are there drugs? I'll answer that question in a second, Chest Bay. It rains all the time here, so it doesn't slow people down. They just throw on the raincoat and go. The ponchos. Drugs are here. I don't recommend it. If you like drugs, you can find the culture. I don't do drugs myself. I'm a teacher. And it's not just because I'm a teacher, but just because I don't do drugs. However, if you get caught with drugs, you can get a life sentence in prison. And trust me, you don't want to spend the weekend in prison here. You don't want to spend the weekend. Because I got a contract offer. I was in America and they offered me a contract. Living US dollar per year, you could live off of 8,000 US per year, although I don't recommend it. I'd recommend trying to push at least 15. Yeah, the penalty is extremely severe. Extremely severe, and they will not hesitate to make an example out of you. Although, listen, if you walk in the tourist district in Saigon, everybody offers you like weed and these balloons. I don't even know what's in the balloons. Like, I don't do drugs. No, I'm teaching at an international school. Although, coincidentally, one of my subjects is English language arts, and the other one is social studies. Oh, this guy made a return. He's been gone for like an hour. I don't know where he's been. I don't think this is not a good place to start doing drugs. Like, I don't do drugs, and I don't plan on trying it here. It's just not a liberal country where they're like, yeah, man, let's try to toke it up. It's just not here. Why am I thinking beer won't be that flash? Wait, what? What do you mean that flash? I don't really understand. Oh, he's leaving again. There's just something creepy about this guy. Let's see here. Wait. Alright, come on. You know they went back there to buy something. They're already on their way back. They're like, absolutely not. We're not doing this anymore. We're going home. Alright, guys. They've turned around. They survived There's got to be something back here, something of the fishy nature. You guys are asking about drugs, and they went like here and then turned around. You're asking about drugs. Thank you guys for the hearts. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for sharing. I really do appreciate it. I am going to pimp out my station. I will pimp it out. I'll pimp it out. Ask for a share. Football, soccer teams, Frank. A lot of soccer teams are here, local teams. They do participate in the Olympics. You can find where they practice for the Olympics. There's large gyms here for that. Prostitution is illegal. However, it is very widespread. Very widespread. They don't really regulate it as close as you'd think. It's not much. The guy's still karaokeing, but he's definitely calmed down. If you've been here long enough, you know he was yelling quite loudly earlier in a very terrible way. No shame. No shame. So he's definitely calmed down. Maybe he's too drunk. Front beach. On a good day, you can actually see a sunset on that beach. It's beautiful. Today, you're not going to see anything. It's not going to happen. Is gambling legal? It is illegal, though it's also very widespread. It's illegal, but it's widespread. Does anyone have any questions about living in Vietnam? I do have a few people in here. I do have a few hearts flowing through. I really appreciate such fact. Do I go to the wet markets? You mean the wet markets? Yes, I do. I very much so enjoy it. I look forward to scoping it soon. I probably won't scope that until I get an iPhone again. Right now my LG doesn't show the comments, and I like to answer questions. I love engagement. Alcoholism is not much of an issue, although people are drunk at any time of the day. They don't regulate. It's not the 5 o'clock rule here. Hello, Mexico. Rent is a wide range, anywhere from $100 to $1,500. Alcohol, they can be drunk 8 o'clock in the morning, but they don't normally bother anybody. They don't usually bother anybody. You can drink here. If you can stand above the counter, you can drink. Although the official age is a little higher, nobody regulates it. So people are drunk all time today, all sorts of ages. Although it's not as much of a public issue because they don't bother people. Although I will say there's probably an on average higher number of people that are getting drunk daily than, say, in some developed countries. So I really do appreciate you guys engaging. Questions, comments, concerns. Wide open, no censorship here. Chest Bay, no censorship. Checked out property prices. There is a wide range. Are there many homeless? Not a lot of homeless, but a lot of people living like this. This is as close to homeless without being homeless, right? It's just metal. And sometimes, you see that? They got tarp on the walls. And some metal right here. And like tarp with rocks holding down the tarp. This is about as close to homeless as it gets without being homeless. It's very, very close. Does the government help? Not as much as they could. We don't have the projects here where you would see like public housing, like helping the people. We don't really have that very much here. We really don't. Really appreciate you guys with the hearts and the shares. The hearts and the shares, and the follows, and the whatever else may have you. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Really do. So, winding down with some questions. We don't have very many questions flowing in now. Is it hot? How hot? In Fahrenheit, 110, 115 Fahrenheit. I think that's something to the tune of 35 C. I think we're going to round it up, guys. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Social class is extremely obvious. Namely, if you drive one of those four-wheel vehicles, you are in the 1% of the 1% because they're ridiculously expensive. They tax them at a 100% rate, which means you pay 200% of the value. So as we wind down in the chat here, I think I will cut it shorter than I expected. Where are you from in the States? I'm from Florida. From Florida. If you guys ever have questions about life in Vietnam, I do live here, I teach here. I have scoped here quite a bit. I will scope this city. I will scope wet markets. I will scope cafes, karaoke places, temples, shrines, Catholic places, statues, mountains, the beach side, tourism, pretty much anything I can think of, I will scope it. What about religion, Madnish? What about religion? Thank you for inviting followers. I'll try to cut this within the next 5 minutes. Bánh xèo. Bánh xèo is delicious. Depends on who makes it though. I love bánh xèo. Love bánh xèo. Is what allowed? Madnish. Madnish, I don't know the context because I have too many pop-ups coming up. I don't know the context. Is what allowed, Madnish. I will cut it in about 5 minutes. Thank you guys for the hearts. I even got a super heart on this scope. I got a super heart. A couple people gave me some super hearts. That was nice. Very nice. So thank you guys for hearts, super hearts. Really do appreciate it. It's been a fun scope. I really appreciate the engagement. I've lost the context. It's what allowed. I know that's bad broadcasting. I haven't asked in about 5 minutes. Do we have any broadcasters in the chat? Any broadcasters here? Or we just have all viewers? It's getting windy. You can see my my iPad shaking in the wind because it's quite large. So it just kind of blows back and forth. Do we have any broadcasters? No. All right. Anybody have any questions remaining? Next scope you see me, I will be walking around. I walked around a grocery store. I wanted to share with you guys just how available, Western amenities are. So I scoped a grocery store recently. What? Arctic Vox said, I just don't know the context. Viewers. I don't know the context, Arctic Vox. Broadcast. Wow. We've had a few people drop in. We have had a few people drop in. Guys, next scope. Hopefully we'll be on the ground. I might scope again from my balcony. If I do, I will talk to you about something to the nature of living in Vietnam. There's so much. To the law of Christianity, Catholic is one of the largest religions in southern Vietnam. So it is widespread. Very widespread. I will maybe talk about something next time. Like the food, the rent, whatever, the daily life, getting around on a motorbike. There's just so much to talk about being an American living in Vietnam. Any final questions as I end the scope? I see about 10 new people dropping in. Boom, 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 boom. They are full-fledged singing now. We have brought back the yelling. It's so interesting. It is entertaining. I do sit out here quite a bit. So, hello, New York. I'm on my way out, New York. I've been on for about an hour. I have been on for like an hour. Yes, I will scope. I do intend to scope on the ground. My Android hasn't been working. My LG hasn't been working. So I wanted to scope from my balcony with my iPad. So, thank you so much for those who have stayed, who have contributed with questions. It is safe enough. It is safe enough. So, thank you guys for joining. If you have questions remaining about Vietnam or this scope, just tweet me. You can tweet me. If you would like to see Vietnam from the ground, follow me here on Periscope. Turn on your notifications. Thank you so much, Arctic Vox. I do share. Yesterday I shared like 4 pictures from Instagram. I do share a lot on Instagram when I'm not scoping, so that's like my number one outside of Periscope. It is Joshua229I. I believe it is in my profile. I do believe it's in my profile. Let me pull it up. It is Joshua229I. If you want to see some cool pictures from Vietnam, check out my Instagram. So I will scope soon. Thank you guys so much for keeping me entertained. I hope that this view has been entertaining and the questions have been helpful. So we'll see you guys in another scope. We're going to say bye for now.